When creating styles for a web page or a site, it is important to remember to be playful, to experiment, and to make adjustments to your design that satisfy your design and site objectives. In order to experiment, you need an understanding of how and where to edit your styles. As you probably have guessed, there are several ways that exist to change the embedded styles. The first way is simply to go back down to Page Properties in the Property Inspector, open up the dialog box, and make the changes right there. But you can also go into Code View. Remember, I've told you over and over, don't be afraid to go into code. So let's go into Split View, and let's scroll to the top so we can see our styles. And let's make some changes there and see if there are some things we'd like to tweedle and make better. I'm not sure that Verdana is the right font for this website, so I select the word Verdana, and I'd like to see Trebuchet. It's one of my favorite fonts. So I type the word Trebuchet in, go to the right panel and click on the button Refresh. Now I have an opportunity to look at that change, decide whether it's what I want or not. For me, it looks like it's too lightweight. I liked the forcefulness and the exactness of Verdana, so I'm going to select Trebuchet again and type in the word Verdana. Then click on the Refresh button. Yeah, that's the way I like it. I'm happy with that. So I experimented right there. There's a couple other things that I can try. Let's go back to Design View. And as you can see, we now have an active CSS Styles panel because we've added embedded styles into our head tag. I'm going to click on the top tag, Body TD TH. Remember, TD and TH stand for Table Data, Table Header. And I see all the attributes and all of the values that I have created for those three tags. I'd like to change the font size. Currently, I have picked 12 pixels. And although that would be a good choice if I were working inside of Photoshop or I were doing print and InDesign, it is a fixed number. Using a fixed number is not necessarily the best way to go inside of a browser, because if I have users who need to enlarge or reduce the text, this fixed number won't be able to be changed. So I'm going to select this. You have two choices when you're creating fonts inside of a web page. You can use fixed measurements or you can use relational measurements. I'd like to show you a couple of my favorite relational measurements. The first one is just simply using percentages. Now I know you're not familiar with what percentages can do, so the place to start in using percentages is put 100% and see what that looks like. So I type in 100, select the second drop-down menu, and choose percent. It's a little too large, so now I know that 100% is pretty big, and 100% usually indicates 100% of the browser font, default font. I think it could be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to select 100% again, and this time I'm going to type 80 and the percent sign, and click Tab. Yes, that's much, much better. And that will stretch, and the user can use the Command plus and the Command minus to make this larger and smaller. And it will stay in relation to the other fonts displayed on the page. The second relational font measurement system that I like is the EM. And EM is a measurement for the width of the letter M in the font that you are currently using. So let's try that one out. Again, always start with the number 1 or 100%. So I'll put 1, click on my drop-down menu. There's M right there. Remember, it's the width of the M. And again, it's pretty large, and it's very similar to what 100% looked like. So that's a good thing for you to know, that the percentages and the M's are in the same ballpark in terms of size. So knowing what I know about 100%, I think I'll try 0.8 M. So I click here, do 0.8, go ahead and type EM, hit Tab. That looks great. I'm very happy with that. That meets web standards, it meets accessibility standards, and the user inside the browser can enlarge and reduce the text. This is exactly what I want to use. There are slight differences between using M and the percent system. Both of them have good things and bad things about them, but they're used a lot, and they're a web standard and a best practice. James Williamson, in his Dreamweaver Essentials, goes into much more detail about how to use them and when to use them. So there we have it. It's not that hard to make styles, it's not that hard to change styles, and it's actually fun and part of the design process to experiment, be playful, and try to make your page look as good as you can for that web browser experience.